Sexton, now that it is confirmed he's going to win his 100th cap, can you talk about his longevity and what how he's evolved and how he's changed and what he brings to the party as one of the more experienced people?
Well, I think a lot's been said already about him, and I think we could carry on the same subject for years to come as well, not just this week, because I said last week that he's one in a generation player, and I think that says it all really, because how many of those are about? How many of those are coming through, etc. It's pretty rare in any sport, so I think that says it all really, Corky.
And just in relation to the team selection, people may make a virtue of the fact there's 12 from Leinster in the starting team, but the fact that there are so many players who have that bit more game time at the start of the season, how relevant a factor was that in terms of the next 3 weeks and specifically this weekend?
Yeah. Lots of points is a good point. I've been on record saying before that I would never do the squad a disservice by looking at who I'm picking, who they play for provincially. It's certainly not fair to the squad, it's certainly not fair to the team, and it's 100% not fair to the individual. We pick a team on merit, on what's right, and where the squad and the field is at that moment in time. So this is the best side for Japan, and we go with that.
And I suppose for those supporters who might have liked to have seen the likes of Balakoon or Coombs in their kind of younger players, what would you say to that kind of those supporters?
Yeah, and I get that. Everyone wants to see the next cab on the rank and the next exciting youngster coming through, but Gavin's been ill all week, so that's ruled him out. He's had a virus and he's not been able to train with us. And Rob Balakoon, he's got tremendous potential, but he's been injured for a good while, and he's just finding his feet, and he's come back into the squad after being involved in the summer. And some lads find their feet straight away, like Dan Sheehan, etc., and some take a little bit more time, and bringing an extended squad, a bigger squad, into the Autumn Nations series is going to be great for people like Rob.
Was there anybody else ruled out through sickness or anything?
No, sickness, no. No, we're all good on that front as well.
Andy, Dan Sheehan, you mentioned him there a few seconds ago. What have you seen in him over the course of the last 2 weeks? I know he's obviously been on your radar for a while, but specifically in camp, what have you been most impressed with?
I've seen what you hope to see when you work with somebody for the first time. Someday that's going to come into a daunting environment and roll his sleeves up and say, I'm going to prove that I belong here, and he's definitely done that, and that's what you want, and that's what we've seen in the past with the likes of Hugo. We've seen that with the likes of Caelan, Ronan Keller to a certain extent as well. Dan's come in and he's hit the ground running. He's made his errors like everyone has, and it's certainly not going to be perfect on the weekend for him. But he's got the bit between his teeth, and he's trying to show the rest of the squad that he belongs here.
Andy, James Lowe obviously dropped out for the last Six Nations game, wasn't it? And you said you were looking forward to see them play with Leinster. What have you seen from him over the last couple of months and even recently to get back in?
I've been impressed with how he's gone about dealing with the tough time that he went through. He's had a good look at himself regarding his preparation, how he prepares, and I think it was a little bit of a shock for him, first time up in the pressures of international and the scrutiny of international rugby. He's gone away, he's been very diligent, he's wanted to work on aspects of his game that we've asked him to. There's improvements there. He gets his chance because of all that to show us that he's the right man for the job. He looks in great nick. He's lost a bit of weight. He's got the bit between his teeth. We'll see how he performs at the weekend.
What kind of performance would you like to see from him?
Just being himself, really. He's a guy that likes to find his way into the game constantly, and that's what we want from our wingers. Andrew Conway does exactly the same. He's the ability to find a way within assist him to get his hands on the ball. Obviously, he's big, he's strong, he's hard to handle. You know, he can link as a ball player as well, whether it be first receiver or at the back, and he's got a big left boot. Again, you know, we know all that. He's bringing that to the arena on Saturday.
Just on Andrew Porter as well, what have you made of his switch over and what's he been like in camp?
He's been great, yeah. He's scrums have been very competitive, as you would imagine. Again, we've picked a big enough squad to make sure that side of things is competitive in the set piece. We always want to keep improving in that aspect. To see Ports and Tig on the field together at the same time is something that I'm sure we're all looking forward to.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Andy, just on that, is that something that's been in the back of your mind for a while? Obviously, you were there when you made the switch initially, but...
Well, you know, obviously I was there in we all know Ports' background as a junior coming through. I was there in 2015 when we was toying with the idea, you know, and we saw him have a fantastic game at Wales in the loose head position as well. It's something that we've talked about without actually giving him the full chance to really prove himself in that regard. He's been more than open to the idea, and he's had a full summer to get stuck into it. And you know, but he's certainly aware. I'm very comfortable in the fact that we know that he's a top class tight head as well on the way. But he's taken to the loose head side of things, and we're all excited to see him go on Saturday.
And just what about Keane Healy? Obviously, he's covering loose head this weekend, but do you see him getting game time at tight head at all?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I think he's done a fantastic job at tight head for Leinster, and fair play to Keane for putting his hand up to help Leinster out in that regard, and he's been very diligent in doing so. So, you know, stranger things have happened. He's of course he's proven that he can do so. Of course, that could be an option down the line, but we see him more as a loose head. It's a different challenge for Keane, isn't it? Coming off the bench, etc. You know, I'm sure that Dan will like the fact that he's there beside him as well. It could be a different role going forward. We'll see how he handles that as well.
What's a successful autumn series for you, Andy?
Well, like always, you know, it's always about improvement. It's always about performance and improving. You know, what areas do we want to improve in? Like I said to you there about set piece, we always want to be more dominant there because it's such a big aspect to the game. We want to be more clinical in when we get the opportunities as well. And our defence, we feel we can take that up another notch as well. Like I was saying last week, it's consistency of performance week in, week out, which is against top class opposition is very hard to do, but that's where we want to go.
All the focus will obviously be on Johnny Sexton, but what do you want from the other 10s in the squad for this November series, like of Joey Carberry? Like, is it a worry that Johnny still appears to be the number one out half, that he's out on his own in that way?
It's certainly not a worry. Johnny's a world class player, so why would I worry about that? You know, what do we want to see from Joey and from Harry? We want to see them pushing Johnny. You know, Johnny's not just going to stand to the side and say, "There you go, guys, off you go, take over now." We want those guys and other 10s to be challenging Johnny to knock him off his perch. That's what a competition's all about in the squad.
Do you think Johnny is being pushed by the other 10s?
Well, we'll see. But we'll see. I mean, the way that Johnny started the season, I'd say is the informed 10. I think we'd all agree with that. But the more that the likes of Joey and Harry get the opportunity to come into camp, you know, sometimes training and pressures that we put on them in certain aspects of the game, in positions like that are pretty daunting enough. You know, sometimes it's even more so higher the pressure than the game anyway. So I'm sure in that regard these two lads will continue to improve.
How have they responded to that over the last few days? You know, when you kind of said that kind of message to them, how have they approached that?
They love the honest feedback, you know, and that's how we are with them. You know, they want to know how they can improve and what they have to do to improve. And a lot of the times, you know, at this level, you know, because of the speed of how things happen, especially in training, the intensity, it's the calmness of thought in that type of position, and learning to deal with all that, with the pressures of trying to understand how to get as best prepared as you possibly can in such a short space of time is daunting enough, you know. Joey's been out for quite some time, as we know. Harry's pretty inexperienced in that regard. All this experience will stand to them.
Is there a bit
Take the last couple in this section.
Is there a bit of a risk though that you 2 years out in the World Cup and you get further towards the World Cup and then Johnny maybe, you know, his career comes to an end and you haven't really got the experience then for someone to step in and such a big tournament?
No, we're not worried about that at all. No. If Johnny's healthy and competing and playing at the top of his game, again, we want people to knock him off his perch. I have absolutely no doubt that if that does happen, that the likes of Joey, Harry, Jack Carty, Billy Burns, whoever it may be, that has to make them a better player anyway. If they want the shirt, if they don't want the shirt, then that won't happen, you know.
Johnny will love that as well, though. Other people trying to get in.
He's not going to give it up easily, and it's not just Johnny. It's other guys in the squad. That's what you want, you know. You don't just want to hand something over to someone that doesn't deserve it. That's not a squad.
Okay, can I clarify Gavin Coombs' virus? Is that COVID or is it something?
No, it's not COVID. No, he's just got a virus.